It's a beautiful day. Even if it's not beautiful, God has enabled us, empowered us to make it more beautiful. So make your life beautiful even when we go through rigors, ordeals. Amidst all these beautiful and not beautiful things, I felt like reading out a story I have written for this anthology. And the title of the story is Who is Lobhita? The Leitmotif Research. In search of the sun, the moon, the universe, most importantly, the light within, transcendental occurrences appear in an unexpected constraints of time that entered into Lovita's imagination and thoughts like a leitmotif research, but with unpleasant moldy malodor that surpassed the melody of verse that she just finished recording for her next play. The pain. Keep your mouth shut, or I'll shoot you. The pain recrudesced from dark chamber of earthwards time's dark. The reflections of the morning sun's golden rays erase the persevering, unpleasing succession streaming down was something like the spirit of Pyrrhic victory she won. Relenting and looking at the photo in the newspaper, it was about Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph of 1st February 1968 by A.D. Adams' 35mm photograph of Police Chief General Nguyen Ngoc Loan executing Viet Cong prisoner Nguyen Van Lam on Saigon Street. Takes Lovita back to an event, a drama of 1981. Less dramatic events are less remembered, sweet or sour, bitter or better. A battered life like Saigon execution Lobhita endured, she can relate the pain in others too. The general killed the Viet Cong. I killed the general with my camera, said Eddie. Half-truth may be misleading, leading to misunderstandings of thought occurs incessantly in Lovita's imaginations. What would you do if you were the general at that time and placed on that hot day and you caught the so-called bad guy after he blew away 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 Americans? Eventually, Eddie had to apologize in person to the general for the irreparable damage the photograph he clicked for the newspaper caused. It caused irreparable damage to the general's honor and praised him as a hero of a just cause. Adam may have received Pulitzer Prize, but dishonoring the general's honor was not fair. Keep your mouth shut, or I'll shoot you. The repeated occurrences, the voices that emerge out from the pages of a screenplay merges to the coincidences of reality. This is what exactly Siddhartha put forth. squarely frightening Lobhita, unlike Prince Siddhartha, who left the kingdom to become the Lord of Enlightenment. In search of lights and in search of sun, moon, the universe and the lights within, Lovita didn't react to his irascible behavior. She freed him. She knew he will realize his errors and errors one fine day and transform himself like the enlightened one, the enlightened Lord Buddha, the transformed Siddhartha, the prince. The day may be too late, but for good. Living at daggers drawn would have heralded disaster, deadly, dangerous, and difficulties. Both parted their ways for good. Lobhita decided, vowed over her ordeals and rigor she went through, that she will not again, and they never met. Keep your mouth shut or I'll shoot you, warned the sepoy, pointing the gun at Lobhita. I will never keep quiet, you slave of slaves. How can you be in a group hit a single girl brutally like this? Eyeball to eyeball, vilified Lovita. Cowards? Is that the way to show your muscular strength? Lovita snatched the gun and reverbs at the sepoys. Guns and grenades cannot kill me. Kill our love for our country. A group of sepoys chase a little girl. She runs towards Lobhita and fell down. Lobhita ran towards her to hold and the Indian flag from falling. Nat Khonir Parvati Khondo Oha Deobare Radio Dibrugarh Anushthan announces the radio in Assamese. Means the next episode of the drama will resume by next Sunday. Ramgam, as usual, would sit near the radio every Sunday, waiting for the drama Lovita. Turning the radio louder, he silenced the children. With a gesture, seated next to him, all the children listening quiet like a lamb, silenced lamb. Who is she in your home? A villager asked. The dialogue from the radio silencing the mute sense echoes in the radio too. A Hindu girl, starved. Where will she go? Better I take her to Sadar police station, said Ilahi Mia. No, Ilahi Mama, British sepoys have already harassed me a lot. And my people think that the sacredness, the chastity will be contaminated because I have stayed at your place. She cries and comes out of the house. God, free humanity from hypocrisy, prayed Ilahi Mia. The silence created a frequency that cracked the quietude of the wind, quiet like a prayer. Yes, free humanity from blind beliefs, superstitions, prayed the youth too. Don't cry, Lovita. Both Ilahi Mia and the boy consoles her. Lovita was written during the Second World War. At the same time, the freedom of Indian independence was going on, when in the year 1941, the legend, freedom fighter and the first filmmaker of Assam, Jyoti Prasad, joined the freedom movement and went underground to escape the British repression. What prompted Lovita to join INA? She left Tezpur in Assam and went to Kohima in Nagaland to serve the Second World War victims and to nurse each wounded ones. The nurse her was a warrior the nurse and a warrior and a healer. This might have evoked Jyoti Prasad, the legend, to write the patriotic play Lobhita. Nevertheless, the Indian National Army's Azad Hind Force spirit to free India might have invoked Lovita to uphold the patriotic spirit of the armed forces formed by Indian nationalists in 1942 in Southeast Asia during the Second World War under the leadership of Subhash Chandra Bose, and their successful campaigns in Burma, in Imphal and at Kohima, announced the announcer in the radio. The drama in the radio usually ends at 8 p.m. in the evening, and as the drama in the radio ends in every Sunday, Gam would mark the torn, mucky old calendar of the year 1974 with a chunk of charcoal. Smoke from the kitchen also has added and formed many layers of smoked paint on the calendar. Ram Gam would wait for the drama to finish. Then he would start his dinner leisurely, but in time. Everything in time. He thinks great things find both rhythm and rhyme in time. Rhyme is the heartbeat, the rhythm in the heart of every matter. The 10-year-old radio hung on the bamboo pole of the Morang Okum means a dormitory of the Abotani clan. Ram Gam could not concentrate in his work. His half-done sculpture of Mahatma Ji lay beneath the Morang Okum unattended. But he would force people to imagine that the half-done image of the Mahatma Ji that doesn't look like Mahatma Ji at all. He wants his elder daughter to present it to the school on 2nd October, the Gandhi Jayanti day. And on this very day, the piece of wood would take the shape of Mahatma Ji, undistorted though, but you can feel Mahatma's spirit in the wooden Mahatma. Ram Gam made for his daughter. He believes that on this specific day, his own honesty and truth and love for nation, love for Mahatma Gandhi will reflect, assuring him unambiguous. Life of honesty is the only fair path to peace. And he wants his children, including the 9-month-old in the womb, to be born to flow with this flair, this ideology as a peace lover, rather a peacemaker. It's almost 2 months that the piece of golden sampa wood he picked from the densest forest of Patkai Hills is taking the shape of Mahatma Ji. But the radio broke his heart. It's Muhammad Rafi and Kishore Kumar's song that would leverage the strength to his hands. Already numbed by the biting cold of the winter winds, to chisel out a living Mahatma Ji from the thick, tough layers of evergreen Tita Sampa, golden Tita Sampa wood. Tita Sampa derived from the vernacular Assamese name Sampa, the golden Sampa wood, with high medicinal value that contains almost anti-cancerous properties. He would explain how both the objects he had chosen carries values of high degree. His eyes fixed on his much loved radio, Ram Gam presumed and consider that he is married to the first to the radio a decade back before he finally got married to Jejung, his wife. He loved most, but sometimes finds her irksome, bewildered by her constant nagging. But he loved his wife. She will never understand, though she will never understand how much of silence and solitude he needed to concentrate on his art. And most importantly, the failed concentration may fail to chisel out the desired image to make look Mahatmaji handsome in the wood. Dragging his feet in deciding whether to repair the radio or buy a new sweater for his wife, who is carrying a 9-month-old baby in her womb and due anytime. He would count many a time the big bundle of money, mostly consists of rupees 5, 2 and 10 notes. At the same time, his eyes will never miss to meet the image of Mahatma. Back to his disabilities to decide, the dilemmas over the necessities of his wife and love for the radio. He couldn't draw a line between his love for the radio and the wife. The dilemmas had to end. His favorite song that has kept his spirit lilted. The pig-headed music system sometimes need few tracks. Then only it plays, but a magnetic tap wounded on a reel would run out of the cassette. The long brownish flat tap resembles the tapeworms of pig's meat pork, causing cysticercosis to the radio and to the people too. Don't worry, clinically it's proven that pork, if cooked well, is the safest meat. The reel would run out and get stuck before Kishore Kumar finishes his song. That annoys Ramgam, so much so that the annoyance grows in him like the poisonous pig laurel. He would pull out the tangled reel that is more than 10 meters long. He would tie one end to a twig of a tree in the courtyard and slowly would roll back into the cassette and would wait patiently for the songs to resume. This process must have annoyed great Alexander Graham Bell too. He had to bear this with a sore head sometimes, may have gone ballistic. The radio may be pre-owned, but the cassettes are all new. He would travel 100 kilometers all the way to Dibrugarh to buy the latest release. Angry Ramgam and the swallowing river looks angry too. The river Lobhita had reached its danger level, simultaneously gulping down the valley, which comprises of many villages like Teju, Dangla, Digaru, Teliliang. He had to wait for a week to get the rupees 500 from Mohanlal Agrawala. Within that week, Mohanlal will sell all the quintal of green chili that he had bought from Ramgam. The only blue bus runs by government was stranded while coming from Sadia, the headquarters of Britishers, on the other bank at Paya, and tiny hamlets of the Nepali Bastis called Khutis, where they lived and reared hundreds of cattle. From this hidden hamlet, the wide sandy field of prairies were various treeless grassy plain green reeds and many an aquatic plants with narrow leaves of different patterns. Small flowers of monotypic Neat family grows by the river. The stones are mysterious work of art. Each stone has pattern Patterns with floral to geometric textures and beautiful patterns exceed the beauty of creations and magic of nature. God's own art such beautiful and beyond science of one seek the presence of the invisible artist here. Somewhere it must be God. Be aware, smell of blood. Be aware, smell of blood. The people of the land knows the smell of the blood. The king of the jungle is few meters away. The stench odor that surpass and suppress the aromatic fragrance of the flowers of the dense trees of golden sampa. It's the smell of the tiger's arrival and the man-eater. The tigers who have already tasted man's blood are unidentified. Their possessive quest is to get and grab the most delicious human fresh flesh. Most of the victims were from Missimi villages and also from Nepali Kutis, the cattle sheds, and the hunters too. The tigers to have inner love. The tigers to have inner love, but are confined to their family domain strictly. They are merciless killer, unseen. There's the testimony to prove their power. No law or punishment or penance follows, but in lieu, love for the tigers continues in human hearts. Humans shall protect these merciless kings. We are such a lousy animal, Mahatmaji quotes, but the line, the greatness of a nation can be judged by the way its animals are treated, by Mahatmaji proves man's love for animal fraternities, our extended family. Everybody is acquainted with the smell that warns of the arrival of the king of the forest. The unpleasant smell has warned Lobhita too. She has tasted the blood of the tiger once. That's why most of her friends call her tigress. It happened once when the man-eater intruded into King of the Khamti, Chokhamon Gohain's huge farmyard. The tiger jumped from tree atop. Before the watchman could shoot with the almost rusted vintage rifle, the tiger fell callously on the meters-long spear-like horns of buffalo, got his heart pierced through the horn and died on the spot. The king of the jungle is dead. The king of the jungle, the tiger, not all, but the man-eater is dead. But that didn't diminish the growth of tigers in safe haven. In the mountains, dense forests to flat hills of Brahmaputra, the tigers have increased from 100 to 146 tigers. The last frontier of India had 14 tigers, which have increased to 28 in the year 2015. Both Arunachal Pradesh, Assam has 167 tigers. Now it has increased from 70 in the year 2006 to 143 in 2010. People's love for the king of the jungle has glorified the endangered species of long life. And India today has 2,26 tigers, that has increased from 1,706 counted in the year 2010. Many people in the village and Lobhita, along with his friends, rushed to see the saber-toothed king. The king, not the other king, the king man-eater was lying dead, blood oozing out, reddening the red earth. A lump of blood flown into the air, then straight away fell into Lobhita's gaping mouth. It happened unexpectedly that she was not prepared to swallow the blood that she had gulped it. She felt the blood making its way inside her intestines. The eerie feeling that she literally drank the blood of tiger benumbed her at that particular point of time. She looked attentively at the tiger into the man-eater, the king's piercing eyes unbelievably. When was alive, the king ventured into Nepali kutis from the purest, where the purest milk and ghee and curd were supplied to Tiju, and all the babus and baniyas to the Misimi Raja Tankaksu Kri had his huge family. Also Babulal, the Perawala, another famous sheikh by the river Lobhita, India's Indian sweet cake pera made of milk that each passers-by would stop to buy for the love of the pera. The bus would stop here for the pera, even if the unpredictable weather caused a sudden rain and mad water gushing down from the Patkai hills would swallow the river itself, crossing the danger level. But Ramgam was happy, as he could repair the radio, not worried about the danger the river has, and also could buy a beautiful blue color sweater for his wife, and happily was returning in the blue bus. Ramgam went off to sleep the whole night inside the stranded bus, peacefully. The river was not in peace though. The river disappeared into the dark. Anybody ready to cross the river? Ride on once the mahots. The very next they seated on the elephant. Then gradually the elephants would head directly into the river, crossing the Rubicon into the unknown depth of the river and the current of the river. Slowly the elephants would get submerged. They are all gone deep into the water. The people seated on the elephants, the heads are visible, not the elephant. The elephants are not visible except the edge of the trunks and heads of the people popping out of breath, surviving the current underneath. Then the second elephant, where Ramgam rode, the more the elephant en route towards the middle of the river without knowing the danger. The second elephant, where Ramgam rode, the more the elephant en route towards the middle of the river without knowing the depth of the danger. The elephants have a smarter ESSP, the extra sensor special, not ESP, extra sensory perception, but ESSP, extra special sensory perception of the elephant is the secret, mysterious, the mammoth, terrestrial mammal, the proboscis, the meters long trunk, the fifth limb. Trunk is the fifth limb, where the lips and the nose are fused, helps them breathe. The craft of the magic. One leg, 50,000 muscles are there in the trunk. That acts of wonder formulates the senses to revere them as superpower. So the elephant has one leg, 50,000 muscles in the trunk that would help them sense anything, any danger. That's why they are revered as superpower. Finally, the elephant is on the other bank of the river safely. People worshipping and calling him as the harbinger, the Lord Ganesha, god of obstacle remover. Fearing people but could not save the sinking radio. As the radio sings, many a Newtonian moving parts and particles started playing in Ramgam's mind. The mechanics of thoughts has been superseded by special relativity, proving the definition of the object that is at rest will stay at rest unless an external force acts upon it. The radio subtly sings without any force acting on to stop, as if to appear in the Bolivar Island in South Atlantic, the most isolated place on earth beyond anyone's trace. The Aristotle's theory of all objects have a natural place. The radio sung so deep into the river in the natural place, the drowned burst too. Nobody could revolt against the river's fury. Hungry river Lobhita, isolation has its own bliss, a natural quarantine. Living Ramgam's life songless on the vanishing banks of river Lobhita, but a mystery continues to lurk in the domain of his possessive pursuit for something or someone. And it's in the same current that gulped down the only blue burst too. Everything Ramgam surrounded with was in natural place. The tigers, the densest Digaru forest, and girls in the whiff of sweet smell of golden sampaka bloom. Tuck, 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 tuck. The sound of hammer on wood used to wake up little Lovita. She knew it's 4 a.m. in the morning. She would look down from window of the wooden bungalow, her father busy shaping out of the wood, bit by bit, every day for a month. What came out alive out of the woodwork is Ramgam's imagination in reality. It's a Mahatmaji's living face, as if alive. In the meantime, he would count the days, subtracting months to mark the particular date of birth, almost by instinct, following Nagel's rule, ready to name the unborn child's name. In this moment of exultation, sounds of the radio silenced him. The coded mystery constellates in his mind. He takes the pencil simultaneously and writes the outline of the name on a wood, then crave out a name with cleaver surreptitiously. After some time, the name clearly chiseled out, well-defined features of the letters as Lovita craved out from the wood to corroborate along the proverbial code of Pablo Picasso. What you can imagine is real. It's long. I will continue next. Till then, enjoy what I've written. I'm turning this book into a novel soon. Thank you. It's a beautiful day. Even if it's not beautiful, God has enabled us, empowered us to make any day beautiful, right? So I feel like sharing a story that I have written for this anthology. You can see the author's name. Author is Lovita, and the story I'll read out is Who is Lobhita? So it is in search of light, in search of the sun, the moon, the lights of the universe. Transcendental occurrences appear in an unexpected constraints of time that entered into Lovita's thoughts like a leitmotif research, but with an unpleasant, moldy melody that surpassed the melody of verse that she just finished recording for her next play. Keep your mouth shut or I'll shoot you. The pain recrudesced from dark chamber of art Atwards times dark. The reflections of morning sun's golden rays erase the persevering unpleasing succession. Streaming down was something like the spirit of Pyrrhic victory. She won. Relenting and looking at the photo in the newspaper, it's about the Pulitzer Prize winning photograph of 1st February 1968 A.D. Adams 35 photograph of Police Chief General Nguyen Ngoc Loan executing Viet Cong prisoner Nguyen Van Lam on Saigon streets takes Lovita back to an event or drama of 1981. Less dramatic events are less remembered, sweet or sour, bitter or better. A battered life like Saigon execution Lovita endured. She can relate the pain in others too. The general killed the Viet Cong. The general killed the Viet Cong. I killed the general with my camera, said Eddie. Half-truth may be misleading, leading to misunderstandings. Thoughts occur incessantly in Lovita's imaginations. What would you do if you were the general at a time and placed on that hot day, and you caught the so-called bad guy after he blew away 1, 2, or 3, 4 Americans? Eventually, Eddie had to apologize in person to the general for the irreparable damage the photograph caused to the general's honor and praised him as a hero of a just cause. Adam may have received Pulitzer Prize, but it was not fair to dishonor the general. Keep your mouth shut or I'll shoot you. The repeated occurrences and reoccurrences, the voice that emerged out from the pages of the screenplay merges to the coincidences of reality. This is what exactly Siddhartha put it forth, squarely frightening Lobhita. Unlike Prince Siddhartha, who left the kingdom to become Lord Buddha in search of light, in search of the sun, the moon, and the lights of the universe, Lovita didn't react to this irascible behavior. She freed him. She knew he will realize his errors and errors one fine day and transform himself, enlightened like Gautama Buddha, the transformed Siddhartha. The day may be too late. Living at Dagger's Dawn would have heralded disaster. Both parted their ways. For good, Lovita decided, vowed over her ordeals that she will not and never, and they never met. Keep your mouth shut or I'll shoot you, warns the sepoy, pointing the gun at Lobhita. I will never keep quiet. You slave of slaves, how can you, in a group, hit a single girl brutally like this? Eyeball to eyeball, vilified Lobhita. Cowards? Is this the way To show your muscular strength, Lovita snatched a gun and rebuffs at the sepoys. Guns and grenades cannot kill me. Kill our love for our country. A group of sepoys chase a little girl. She runs towards Lobhita and fell down. Lobhita ran towards her to hold the Indian flag from falling. নাটখনিৰ পৰৱৰ্তী খণ্ড অহা দেওবাৰে ডিব্ৰুগড় ৰেডিঅ' অনুষ্ঠান announces the radio in Assamese means the next episode of drama will resume by next Sunday. Ramgam, as usual, would sit near the radio every Sunday, turning the radio louder. He silenced the children with a gesture, seated next to him, listening quiet like a lamb, silenced lamb. Who is she in your home? A villager asked. The dialogue from the radio, silencing the omniscience echoes in the radio too. A Hindu girl stopped. Where will she go? Better I take her to Sadar police station, said Ilahi Mia. No, Ilahi Mama. The British sepoys have already harassed me, and my people think that the sacredness, the sanctity will be contaminated as I have stayed at your place, Ilahi Mama. She cries and comes out of the house. God, free humanity from hypocrisy, prayed Ilahi Mia. The silence created a frequency that cracked the quietude of the wind, quite like a quiet prayer. Yes, free humanity from blind beliefs, superstition, prayed the youth too. Don't cry, Lovita. Both Ilahi Mia and the boys consoles her. Lovita was written during the Second World War. At the same time, the freedom of Indian independence was going on. When, in the year 1941, the first filmmaker, freedom fighter, and patriot Jyoti Prasad Agrawala joined the freedom movement and went underground to escape the British repression. What prompted Lovita to join INA? She left Tejpur in Assam to Kohima in Nagaland. She joined INA as a warrior and to nurse the wounded soldiers. This might have evoked Jyoti Prasad, the legend, to write the patriotic play Lovita. Nevertheless, the Indian National Army's Azad Hind Fauj spirit to free India might have invoked Lovita to uphold the patriotic spirit of the armed force formed by Indian nationalists in 1942 in Southeast Asia during the Second World War under the leadership of Subhash Chandra Bose and their successful campaigns in Burma, in Imphal and at Kohima, announced the announcer in the radio. The drama in the radio usually ends at 8 p.m. in the evening, and as the drama in the radio ends in every Sunday, Gam would mark on the torn, murky old calendar of the year 1974 with a chunk of charcoal. Smoke from the kitchen has formed many layers on the face of calendar. Ramgam would wait for the drama to finish. Then he would start his dinner leisurely, but in time. Everything in time. He thinks great things find rhyme in time. Rhyme is the rhythm, the heartbeat or in the heart of every matter. So I sign off the story by me, Lovita, J.R. Morang, to be continued. Needed a badly cow's milk, pure cup of tea. Lovely. And resume a story. It's of as the radio sings, many Newtonian moving parts and particles started playing in Ramgam's mind. The mechanics of thought has been superseded by special relativity. The mechanics of thought has been superseded by special relativity, proving the definition of the object that is at rest will stay at rest until and unless an external force acts upon it. The radio subtly sings without any force acting on to stop, as if to appear in Lovita Island. The radio is sinking as if to appear in Lovita Island. Lovita Island is in South Atlantic, the most isolated place on earth beyond anyone's trace. The Aristotle's theory of all objects have a natural place in the universe applies here. Ramgam was in natural place. The radio sunk into the river in natural place. The drowning bus too found its natural place beneath the river. Such a disaster, but Ramgam saw all Newtonian's moving parts and particles. Also the Archimedes principle. Nobody could revolt against the river's fury. Hungry river Lobhita, isolation has its own bliss, a natural quarantine. Living Ramgam's life songless on the vanishing banks of river Lobhita. Lovely. This orthodox tea orthodox tea leaf in cow's milk is lilting the energy. Anyways, come back. Living Ramgam's life songless because radio sunk into the river and almost have reached Lovita Island in Atlantic. On the vanishing banks of river Lobhita, but a mystery continues to lurk in the domain of his possessive pursuit for someone or something. And it's in the same current that gulped down the only blue bus too. Everything Ramgam surrounded with was in natural place. The tigers, the densest Digaru forest, engulfed in the whiff of sweet smell of golden champaka bloom. Tuck, 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 tuck. The sound of hammer on wood used to wake up little Lobhita. She knew it's 4 a.m. in the morning, anti-meridian in the morning. She would look down from the window of the wooden bungalow, her father busy shaping out of the wood bit by bit every day for a month. What came out alive out of the woodwork is Ramgam's imagination turning into reality. Mahatma's face. In the meantime, he would count the days, subtracting months to mark the particular date of the birth, almost by instinct, following Nagel's rule. Nagel's rule is ready to name the unborn child's name. In this moment of exultation, sounds of the radio silenced him. The coded mystery constellates in his mind. The coded mystery constellates in his mind. He takes the pencil simultaneously and writes the outline of the name on the wood. Then scrape out the name with a cleaver, surreptitiously. After some time, the name clearly chiseled out. well-defined features of the letters. It read as Lovita, carved out from the cravings of wood to corroborate along the proverbial code of Pablo Picasso's "What you can imagine is real." The sudden flashing reflection from the river woke him to reality, causing blackout. The reflection, sudden flashing or reflection from the river woke him to reality, causing blackout. The sun on top. One would think he is a squinter or has strabismus, the usual visual defect causing the thoughts to deviate from normal orientation. He hurried back home. Next, the Lovita returns while crossing Gopur in Assam. Through the window of the Green Valley Day Super Bus, she was excited to see the tall statue of Kanaklata, powerful at her age, 16. She was a freedom fighter. She saw that powerful statue of Kanaklata through the window of the speeding bus, holding still the Indian flag. Instantly, the poetry from the classroom of her school, "Khub lari mardani wo to jhansi wali rani thi. चमक उठा सन 57 में वो तलवार पुरानी थी." The most feared freedom fighter was Manikarnika Urf, the Rani of Jhansi, fought against two Britishers. She too was 16 years old. We fought for independence. We will, if we are victorious, enjoy the fruits of victory. If defeated and killed on the field of battle, the battlefield, we shall surely earn eternal glory and salvation, pronounced by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, kept Rani ki Jhansi spirited till her last breath. And about the last pharaoh, the Cleopatra, how daringly she ruled ancient Egypt at the age of 18 during 30 BC. On the other side of Lobhita's mind, heard the cry of silenced souls, intensifying strange stench of stories of human trafficking, encircle her into vicious circle of human selling human. 2.5 million to 90 million are domestic workers. Largest workforce in India are unprotected by law, as studied by International Labour Organization. Child Labour Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986 prohibits employment of children in certain specified occupation and also lays down condition of work of children. All the beautiful children Lovita is surrounded with are suffering, are unprivileged, are deprived. With a little help and support they receive, is the question mark growing bigger every day. Will the sun in their life rise? Amidst she shall continue to exist for them. But who is Lovita? At the age of 16 was shot dead by sepoy. The question dangles still in her mind like a dandelion seed hung in the wind. Lobhita ba, I got first prize, shouted Diksha Sarma, peeping out from her window next to Lobhita's house. What for? asked Lovita. For the Lobhita's role I played in the school drama competition. Lovita at that instant called up Aparup Agrawala, the nephew of Jyoti Prasad Agrawala, warned him that she is coming to see him. Also in her quantum quest to discover who is Lovita. Next day she lands up at Aparup Agrawala's home at Tejpur. She sees the hoarding bigger than the house and written on it is Hari Vilas movie since 1975. Aparup greets Lobhita. She looked through the old photos and books in the showcase, then turns to say, I have come all the way to know who is Lobhita. I just want to know whether Lovita is real. or not, asserts Lobhita, and continued interrogating. Aparup smiles and seriously started narrating the historic event. Yes, she is a She is a bold character from the play written by the freedom fighter and the fourth filmmaker of India and the first filmmaker of Assam, the legend Jyoti Prasad Agrawala. Yes, she is a bold character from the play written by the freedom fighter and the fourth filmmaker of India and the first filmmaker of Assam, the legend Jyoti Prasad Agrawala. Lovita is not a real it's an imaginary character, right? Intervenes Lovita. Lovita is real. Lobhita Barua is from village Haloni Bari near Defense Air Drum near Tejpur. It was in the year 1944 when the Second World War was on. She joined the Indian National Army, in short INA, led by Subhash Chandra Bose, and moved to Kohima as a warrior. The nurse in her nursed all the wounded soldiers at Kohima in Nagaland. And one day when she saw a soldier holding Indian flag being shot at, she ran towards the injured soldier, not carrying the souring bullet, holding the injured soldier and the Indian flag too, not letting both fall. She held the Indian flag higher but was also succumbed to the injuries of bullet. Lobhita Barua died holding the Indian flag. Lobhita Barua, the martyr. Then she was a bit lost in his thought of Aparup Agrawala. The mystery led to the discovery. The creator Lovita, the worshipper of beauty. The creator of Lovita, the worshipper of beauty, Roop Kaur Jyoti Prasad Agrawala, breaking the seriousity of Aparup continues. Why you wanted to know so desperately about Lobhita Barua? You are going to play her role in drama, doing research on Lovita, Lady Lobhita Mary. He teased her in his unusual jestful tone as a wit cracker. Lovita took a long breath and absorbed into the spirit of real heroine Lovita. Many girls have enacted the role of Lovita so far in dramas, radios, televisions, schools, colleges, universities, in the world around in cultural programs and day-to-day lives. But nobody knows Lovita, and there are no plays in radio or TV nowadays. So I'll be playing Lovita in air, All India Radio. Once it gets aired, I will warn you. Remembering the story of Lovita, that her father Ramgam Miri was possessive about the drama, leaving Ramgam curious and mystery behind naming her daughter as Lovita against the will of his beautiful wife Jarjum, who wanted her daughter's name to be Kankan. Kankan means beautiful. Yes, Lovita is beautiful. Gam too wanted to know what happened to Lovita after leaving her village Halonivari near Airdrome at Tejpur, and her continued quest to help the war victims at Kohima. But the river left him heartbroken. The river of blood-ridden Lobhita that swallowed down his radio, killed his love, the radio, and the drama Lovita too was as if love strangled, left the quantum quest unfinished. But his love for the angry river of blood, Lobhita, continued to flow. The night was juxtaposed by imageries that helped Lovita to escape into the realm that failed to restrict It's 8:30 p.m. Poet Guljar is in conversation in the radio is on. Amazing voice, thought Lovita, as amazing as his nazm. Meri kavita padho. In search of Mahatma, Lovita went back to school after 3 decades. The school by the river Lobhita stood the test of time. She stood there outside the gate beneath the ruby red bloom of bottle brush tree. Bottle brush tree brushing up all the pristine presence of each thing that still lay there waiting, right from the blade of grass to the elegant structure, the bungalow of the school. It still is charmed by the breeze that blows here, quiet in quietude, quiet healing at the same time the existence of airy feel. The royal Chokaman Gohain, the king's family's great contribution in itself was mammoth, magnificent in time's silent essence. A cause shall remain unknown to the rest of the world, that all got buried in the sands of turbulent time. In last frontier of India, Mahatma is here. The Mahatma made out of wood of golden Tita Sampa. This Mahatma is inside the school. Ram Gam's gift to his daughter Lovita and to the school. The 2 feet tall bust of Mahatma was heavy for her to carry. Both daughter and the father carried Mahatma in the bicycle. The airy feeling and the disheartening gusto was upsetting. She could not meet her Mahatma. The school was locked and abandoned. Creepers from the forest creeping all over the school over the bank of river Lobhita. She had to return because it was already dark. Mahatma was invisible. She knew Mahatma is there. She can visualize in her imagination the inner love like an indelible ink that cannot be erased by tides of time. Lovita was now relieved from the curse of the sculpture of Mahatma, as if the sculpture Mahatma is calling her every day. The sculpture of Mahatma that Ram Gam Miri could finish, and the half drama that the radio left. She finished rehearsing the story of Lovita. She is ready for the shoot to play the role of freedom fighter Lobhita Barua, really too from the transpirational fault of crisis intervention, the identical by descent of being belong to the states of last frontier of India. She knows now. Lovita Miri knows now who Lovita Barua is, a martyr, the freedom fighter, the warrior, Lobhita. So, I finished my story. I think I read it out for more than 1 hour. I tried to make it fast. So this is the Lobhita, and soon this will be a novel. God bless you all. Keep reading, and last sip of life. Pure cow's milk and orthodox tea, green leaf. God bless you all. Bye.